Hey, shalom, brothers and sisters. Glad you could be back here. Today, I want to talk about Noah's Ark Park. I'm sure, I'm sure you probably never heard of it or anything on the news or anything, but Noah's Ark Park in the country of Turkey actually exists. The government Turkey, they recognize this place as the final resting place of Noah's Ark. Yeah, they let me try to give you a little background on. You could look this up on the internet and get the full details. I'm just on, just give you a little rundown here. But in the 60s, um, some guys found what they thought was Noah's Ark, and they went and studied it. But they come back and determined it wasn't Noah's Ark. Uh, it didn't look like a boat. It didn't have the wood, and it was sort of like fossilized, and the ground grew up over it. But these scientists, I don't know if they was atheist or whatever, but they blew it off and said it wasn't Noah's Ark. But anyways, maybe a decade later, close to a decade later, a man named Ron Wyatt funded expeditions himself to study it and get some scientists in there to look at it, like geologists and others. And took a while, but they finally convinced the government of Turkey about it being Noah's Ark with overwhelming evidence. And then I think it was 1989 or something. They kind of broke ground for the center to be built there, a building, about Noah's Ark, for tourists and everything. But Ron Wyatt, he brought it a lot of attention, and one of them was an Apollo astronaut named Jim Irwin, I believe it was, and then he brought other people in, and they started, studying it, and they drilled a hole in it, and then the drill bit, when it came out, it was fossilized straw or hay and fossilized animal feces. They examined that and tested it, and that's what it was. And to this day, they're still studying it. They haven't, to my knowledge, you haven't broke in or went into it yet or anything, but it's kind of an interesting find, and what I find more interesting is why you've never heard of it. And back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, there's just a little bit of attention brought to it. And I think it was Dan Rather was trying to, when he was talking about it back then, he was actually trying to not promote it, but try to, talk against it, because of, I guess, his atheist bosses and everything. They're trying to talk bad about it, and then later on they threw it under the bus, and that's what it is. The academia today, is full of atheists, and you know how atheists are. They're not skeptics; they're just non-believers. They just want to believe. So what they do is, if you give them biblical facts about something, they throw it under the rug, and fellow researchers, scholars, and scientists, they usually get persecuted and everything, and fired from their university if they talk about the Bible or come up with evidence, about something about the Bible that exists. But anyways, that's why you don't hear about it because of the atheists. Of course, they suppress the truth, because they got their own little wishful thinking. But yeah, Noah's Ark National Park it's in Turkey. You could look it up online. You look up Ron Wyatt. You could look up Robert Canuck was there. Who else was there? There's a few other people, but you could look it up. It's a legitimate park, and you look at the pictures of it. It looks like it's not a natural formation. It's in the ground. So it's fossilized. There's dirt and grass growing over, but you can see the formation in it, and it's breathtaking. Because when I was a kid, they said it was on top of the Mount Ararat. They always had pictures like the snow, and they saw like a boat with wood up there in the satellite images, or the jets. The army jets went by to photographing it, but it don't look like that. And plus, it's not on top of on the mountain itself. Because if you look at Genesis 8:4, it states, "And the ark rested in the 7th month of the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat." Wasn't on top of the mountain, but it's right around the mountains, the mountains of Ararat. Not exactly on top of a mountain. But, a lot of people just, don't realize that, because they don't really read the Bible much. But just look it up. I think I Googled it up like about a year ago, Google Earth. And I believe it wasn't on there. It's kind of like, blurred over or something, or not mentioned, because of the U.S. Because, like I said, academia in the U.S. is run by atheists, and they're like bullies, they just try to sugarcoat everything, and every time something about the Bible or something comes up or something from other countries, they think they have the monopoly, or they think they know everything. These atheist scholars and scientists and everything, they think they know everything and know everybody else is idiots and don't know nothing. They know it. And that's not true, because the USA is not the only country that has intelligent life on it. Turkey's got, intelligence. Israel does, UK, Switzerland, Sweden, they got scientists. And besides, a lot of these people of academia, they don't actually do any field work, go on the site and look for themselves. They might look at the picture for, like 5 seconds and then put it down and say, oh, that ain't a Noah's Ark, or that ain't whatever, and that's not proper investigation. But yeah, look it up, get the details, look up the story of Ron Wyatt. He brought attention to it. He didn't discover it. He kind of almost rediscovered it, put his own hard-earned money in there, and then he started getting funding. And then it took a while, but they finally convinced the Turkish government what it was, and overwhelming evidence. He said, yes, it's what it is, and just look it up and look at the story about it and everything. And there's plenty of books on it, but there's videos on it, and you'd be amazed, because I didn't a few years ago was the first time I actually discovered Noah's Ark actually was found. But you don't hear about that in the news. Atheists keep that out. The Isaiah's and King Hezekiah's bullions were found about 10, 20 years ago. The bullions, the bull of the things that like the seals, for letters, they stamp. They found them stone ones about, I think it was like 100 feet from each other in rubble. And they got them on display. You could look them up too, the Bulla, Bulla, I believe it is. They found them, all the discoveries, Middle East and, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Egypt, anything related to the Bible, it's just, they're never on the news. The only thing you see on the news is dinosaurs, bones being discovered, new species and everything. But you have to take a look at this, and you'll be impressed. I'm sure I'm never going to be able to get to go to Turkey and see it firsthand myself. But you'll be amazed. That's all I wanted to say about that. I just want to bring that to your attention. Please pass that along, and do me a favor and please like my channel, hit the notification bells, subscribe, comment about Noah's Ark, let's have a little talk, and I just think it's very important, and it's very fascinating that, Yahweh's preserved that as a testimony, his existence and what happened, what he did for mankind. But anyways, I thank you again, and as always, shalom and peace out. Thank you.